that performance that Arsenal ended up chasing the game because they went behind to a sloppily conceded goal, and they were chasing their tails and never really looked convincing in and around the final third. I think that was a big problem for Arsenal tonight. A lack of ideas, imagination, creativity. I think it's imperative that Arsenal bring in somebody that can knit the midfield and the forward line together moving forwards, because in matches like that, you need that person to unlock the door.
Yeah, hugely frustrating. And, you know, everybody knows I'm an Arsenal fan and you're an Arsenal fan. That's why we're here. But even from a neutral's perspective, probably the worst thing that could have happened was Villa to get an early goal like that, because you just know they're going to sit back and it's not really going to be great viewing, is it? It wasn't a fun game to watch.
No, it wasn't a great game to watch. But if you're a Villa fan, you loved it.
Oh, of course.
In the way that we loved the games against Liverpool and Manchester City. Look, when all is said and done, Villa might not have had much of the ball, but they had the best opportunities. They scored the goal. They were ruthless with the finish there from Trezeguet, but the better chances fell to them. Martinez had to make a couple of good saves. Keenan Davis should have scored in a 1v1. Grealish was brilliant the way that he surged through, slid him in behind. It's a 1v1 like Aubameyang at the weekend, and it's a really bad miss from Davis. I think, without being, without overreacting here, if Arsenal had lost this game by 2 goals, it wouldn't have been an unfair reflection of the way things went, because Villa did their job on and off the ball. Arsenal were below par in all departments, really. And Mikel Arteta will be sick, I think. He'll be so flat with the reaction of his players tonight.
Yeah, he'll be absolutely furious, no doubt. Again, would love to be a fly on the wall in the away dressing room at the moment, that's for sure. Right, something we've been doing since the restart is 3 things we've learned from each of our games. Now, I mean, I don't know what they're going to be today, but let's have a look at the first thing. After 2 high-intensity wins, the energy was missing tonight. And this, of course, has been picked up by people on social media as well, as you can imagine. Derek saying the last 2 results were great for Arsenal, but tonight shows how little creativity there is in this team. Decent when soaking up pressure and hitting on the break, but poor when having to break teams down. Playing 3 strikers without a link man to get the ball to them is a strange tactic too. And the Arsenal guy says, I think we need to add creativity in the summer. We won't win many games where we have possession. Almost 70% of our games would be like this. Yeah, frustrating that we just couldn't. We've spoke about it on so many occasions, Adrian, on this show, how potent and dangerous our front 3 are, our attack. But today we just couldn't get them in the game.
No, well, we're fantastic from turnovers and counters. And when we spring those transitional attacks, we've got the players to destroy opposition, and we've seen that. But the people that got in touch have a very, very valid point. It's what I've been saying. We need that link man, and I do think tonight with the 3 central strikers, the policy was to get the wing backs high and wide and for them to deliver quality. But it was way too predictable. It was get the ball to them and they're on their own. All they do is whip it in from quite a deep area, and we haven't got the players to attack those crosses. What you want to see is angles being created, 2v1s out wide, little 1-2s, give and goes, get to the byline. And that is when you open teams up that sit off behind you. You hurt teams that sit in with great movement by dragging defenders out of position. And I have to say that our front 3 were poor tonight in terms of their movement. They were too static, but our tactics in general were just a little bit too predictable. I think that we needed more angles. And everyone's right. We also missed the one link man. That's why I wanted Ceballos to step forward a bit. The longer that game went on, I wanted him to almost take the ball by the horns and say, I'll be the number 10. But he stayed quite deep, and he couldn't influence the game from there.
Yeah, and if I have to see another failed Cedric Suarez cross tonight.
11 of them. Yeah, 11 open play crosses. Non-successful, unfortunately.
Yeah, that bad day at the office, it's fair to say. Right, let's have a look at the second thing that we can take from today's game. Set pieces continue to be our big Achilles heel. Yeah, this was brought up, wasn't it, by somebody at half-time, I believe, and problematic for us. It continues.
Yeah, I mean, we switched off. We left the man free at the far post. We were ball watching, weren't we? And he snuck in. Trezeguet, someone, either the person on the edge of the box or someone inside the box, has got to look over the shoulder and say, who's got this guy? I'll take him. It was too little, too late. It was a really good finish. But yeah, we've conceded too many goals from set pieces. I think 9 from corners. There is a stat going around tonight that we've conceded 46% of our goals from set pieces. That is a little bit misleading because Opta count penalties as set pieces, and they're not, are they? And we've conceded 6 penalties, which skews it. It makes it look much worse, but it's still a problem, and it's another reason why we need to sign at least one dominant central defender, in my view, this summer. We know that William Saliba's coming back. That's great, but I think that someone with a real strong presence in there is also necessary, and maybe a central midfielder that's powerful as well.
Well, all will be revealed very, very soon. Let's look at the third and final thing that we can take from today's game then, and it is this. FA Cup or bust for European qualification. Now, you said it in commentary, Adrian. You hit the nail on the head. It is Chelsea again. Basically, the key to our season. Ahmed says, looks like it's over. So frustrating, especially after games against Liverpool and City. We should have started our strongest team instead of bringing them on in the second half.
Yeah, it's easy in hindsight, isn't it, to look at the team selection and say, you should have gone with the same team, but freshening it up could have been the right thing to do had the players delivered. It was just one of those nights where we weren't at the races. It's hard to explain. I'm sure that in their own minds the players' attitudes were fine, but they weren't as bright. They weren't sharp physically or mentally, and Villa, it seemed, had more desire tonight, and that's why I don't begrudge them this victory. I think they deserve to win, Aston Villa, because they defended stoutly and they posed a more incisive threat at the other end of the pitch as well. But yeah, it's FA Cup or bust, isn't it, for the Europa League? Last year, it was, can we get into the Champions League via Europa League final against Chelsea? They'd already made it, of course, into that competition, so didn't need to win, but win and beat us. You just hope that we don't have deja vu there and Chelsea do the same to us again, because that would really, really hurt. But FA Cup final is different. There's a special competition for Arsenal, and we seem to raise our game in it. It's our forte, isn't it? The FA Cup. So we practically own it. Let's be honest. 13 times winners, going chasing the 14th. I still think the final is a 50-50 game, but a lot of pressure on Arsenal's shoulders. I genuinely hope that the players don't go into it feeling the weight of that pressure of getting into Europe, because it should be about the chance to win silverware and the excitement of that, rather than the burden of we must not lose this game. I think that if they go with the other attitude, let's get our hands on a trophy and create history, rather than concentrating on Europe, I think that would be the better bet mentally.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you there, Adrian. But I think, unfortunately, because the way things have panned out in the league, there is now that huge pressure, because it's the only way we can deliver European football for the club, which is so imperative when it comes to the budget, but also Arteta's first proper transfer window.
Well, you say that on the budget. I mean, I don't think anything has to be set in stone. Yes, there'll be less income, of course, if Arsenal don't qualify for Europe, but the ownership can inject money whenever they wish to do so, can't they? So, and we saw with Chelsea when they finished in mid-table a few years ago. Liverpool have been out of Europe before, not that long ago. It can be a blessing, and you can focus with less games. You can focus on the Premier League and getting things right, and it can take you a long way. You can leap in terms of the progress you can make it in one season. So for me, Europe or not, I still think Mikel Arteta deserves to be backed in the transfer market, because if we're not in Europe, we have a good chance, I think, to get closer to the top 4, if not in it next year, with the right players.
Maybe it was just me being selfish. I won't get to see you and Dan Roebuck as often because we won't have as many games. Adrian, as always, thank you very much for your company and your expertise. Excellent as always. Please join us for the final game of the Premier League season. Then this coming Sunday, we take on Watford at the Emirates Stadium. Log on at around 20-4. Hopefully it won't be a disappointing evening like tonight, and we can finish the season on a high. We'll see you then. Take care.